Hello, everyone. Welcome to our tips and tricks seminar. Everyone is muted right now, and that's to help keep the audio channel clear during the presentation. If you have any questions, you can chat, and I'll answer them as questions come in. So we are going to go through some elements of SendMyAd that you may not have seen before. And these include uploading of zip files. We're going to talk about proofing options, and we'll say how that can be configured. And related to that, we'll talk about editing site templates for text that you have control over. And we'll also talk about limiting access to publications based on a user's group. So if anyone has any problems or questions during the presentation, please let me know. I'm going to share my screen, and that should be coming over to you shortly. Okay, if anyone cannot see my screen, please just say that in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to get started, and we're going to upload a zip file. So I'm at just a regular publisher site. This is a demo site, and I'm going to log in as an advertiser so we see what that interface looks like. Okay, I don't have any ads here. I'm going to send an ad. I have different types of ads, so I'm going to send a print ad. Just wanted to point out here, I see 3 publications as an advertiser. That'll become important later when we talk about publisher setup. So, okay, I'm going to select my first publication here. Okay, I'm just going to specify the required fields. Notice our proof type options here. There are 4 options, and selecting any of these will pop up a bit of text that I have to agree to or acknowledge. That will be important a little later on in our demonstration. Select an issue. Okay, now I'm ready to select a file. And you'll see that I have zip file access here for uploads. And I'm going to just simply select my zip file. Upload that. And if you've ever uploaded a file to SendMyAd, you've probably sent PDFs, and the process is exactly the same for the user. Okay. Now, the big difference is that zip files, we really don't do anything with. The zip files are intended for you to be able to allow advertisers or your own users to upload things that maybe have pre-flight errors that you really, you've agreed to deal with, but won't pass our pre-flight engine for whatever reason. Maybe non-standard files. Someone wants to send you, an InDesign, collect for output type folder. They're sending you, fonts and images and that sort of thing. So you can have them zip it up and send it. Now, obviously, you're pretty limited. The only thing that you can really do here as an advertiser is just approve that ad. And if you do that, all the normal stuff happens that you see when you approve an ad. It gets completed, it's sent to you as a publisher, and you can download the receipt. All of that works the same way. The file can be delivered, all normal. However, if you change your mind and the advertiser says, well, I do want to send the PDF, that can be done here as well. And it's treated as a revision of the file. So you just simply are going to re-upload the file, and we're going to say that our content changed. Select my PDF. And now I can upload that. and it goes through the normal PDF upload. Now this time, something different is it actually is going to go through pre-flighting, and we'll get a preview, all of that stuff that you're probably accustomed to seeing. And that's how the zip file uploads. Now you have some control over not only how you accept zip files, but also some of that behavior in the upload form as well with the proof options. So let's move on to that. I'm going to, we're not going to wait around for that to finish. Let's sign out as our advertiser user. And I'm going to log in as a publisher user that is an administrator for this company and is allowed to edit different settings. So the first thing I wanted to point out, we're going to come back to this, but you'll see that I see a different list of publications than the advertiser did. I see one that is actually missing some information, so it's not available for the advertiser. And there's one that the advertiser saw, I believe it's called SI test, that does not appear here for me. So we'll come back to that, but I wanted to point that out. Okay, let's go to our company profile. Accepting zip files is something that is an option. You don't have to do that. In fact, some publishers prefer that they never get a zip file. And so in order to enable it, you just simply turn on under print ad settings in your company, allow upload of zip files. That simply gives the user that icon in the upload form and allows them to supply a zip file. There's a secondary option here. If you do turn on zip files, you can be kind of sneaky here, and you can turn on the hide ability to upload zip files. And sprinkled throughout the site, you'll notice help text. This one has a help text here. And it simply explains that it turns this into a hidden feature. It won't show the icon next to the PDF, so you won't see a zip icon, but it will allow a zip file upload. So it's kind of like a safety valve. You can kind of hold it in reserve. You don't tell your advertisers about it, but you get that phone call or that email that, geez, I can't figure this out. My file keeps failing the pre-flight. I don't know what to do, or I can't make a PDF. Can you please take my InDesign file? You can tell them, okay, this one time, send me the zip file, and they can do it. So it's just a way for you to not publicize it, because you don't necessarily want to get zip files all the time for most workflows. So let's move on to controlling that, that proofing text that we showed you that was in the upload form. So while we're here in the same area controlling the behavior of the ad upload form, we can select the Manage Upload and Reservation Form items. And there's an option to show the proofing options or not. You can totally hide that if you wish. But let's keep that turned on. And then we now have an Edit Proof Options list. Okay? And we have the ability here to select and rename what these types of proof handling shows up in your menu, and whether it's available for upload or pickup. So looking at this, I can see in my demo site, I actually have something that doesn't really make sense. And that is our fourth option here, which is use existing proof. The label says proof will be picked up from the previous issue. Obviously, this is talking about the case with pickups. Do we really want to have that on a upload? No, of course, we would only use that on the pickup. Okay? And so you can control which of these do appear. Okay? If you don't want the option, you can say that the publisher yourself, you never make proofs. Well, just turn that off. Okay? And by deselecting that, it won't even show up as an option. Okay, now this controls the availability of those things in the menu. It controls what they're named in the menu, but the internal name itself is important. We've got the waived option, customer supplied, publisher supplied, and use existing proof. each of those 4 types has a template that we can control. So let's talk about how to customize those. In the same place, now just to review, in your company profile, an administrator for your company can change these things. And if you scroll down to templates, you'll see a variety of things here. Now, we have templates in a lot of places in this interface. The ones that we see here at the top are generic email templates. And these are things that don't necessarily pertain to a certain type of ad or page. They're generic things like, what does your invitation email say? What about some of the error message type emails that we send out? Those things, or how to reset your email. So generic site events. Okay. For specific things, for different types of ads, you would look under that heading here. So for print ads, if you want to control the email that's sent when an advertiser uploads a new ad, a print ad, there's a configure button right here, which will bring up the interface where you can edit the template for that. Okay, so that's one place where you can edit templates. Now, the same template editor is used here for these generic site text messages. So let's scroll down to templates. And in our general site text templates, we've got those ones that we talked about before. So the proof waiver, the proof agreement, providing a proof. So if you click this, it will look somewhat familiar from that message that we popped up before when uploading our ad. We've decided to blah, blah, blah. We're going to let you send your ad without us taking in a proof. And there are certain variables that can be plugged into these. And those are, you just simply place your cursor somewhere and you can select from the dynamic info a range of variables that can go there. Okay. So there are things like the cost of a proof. If you want to say that, hey, we will make a proof for you and our cost for that is X, or you can specify that in your publisher preferences. Okay, so it's really pretty easy. You just make your changes, save and close, and that will be applied in that menu whenever a user opens it. Okay, we are going to move on to talk about the groups and how we can control access to your publications. Now, one important distinction to note here is that your advertisers see all publications that have valid issues and are set up completely. And so a list of your publications will show that this one is ready for ads, this one is not. So an advertiser sees those 2 publications that are ready. However, as I mentioned, there's another publication that I know I'm not seeing here as this user. And that is because in my company profile, under General Settings, I've enabled this preference, Manage Your Users on Each Publication. Now, this requires a little setup for this to work properly. So we're going to go back and look at a user and show how that's set up. But this is a global setting. You turn this on and it's going to affect all of your publisher users, all of your internal staff. Okay, let's look at my user. I'm logged in as this username. And selecting that, I can see what groups I'm in. I belong to 3 different groups. And one of these groups is actually controlling my access to the publications. Okay, and I happen to know that in this case, this one is called editorial. So again, from the left menu, Manage, Groups, there's my editorial group. This is a custom group that I've made. And I haven't given any rights to this group. I don't have any notifications configured. All I've done is I've assigned my one user to it. Typically, you, of course, might have many users or as few as one. But the idea is that we here will specify what publications and web media profiles for digital ads appear in our list. So this user, as you can see, is able to see for print ads, they're able to see North Country Times, Lancaster Today, and HR Demos. There are some that this publication cannot see, and you can add them to the list. You can remove these from the list if you wish. Okay? But those will no longer appear for this user, both to configure as well as to upload to. Okay? And they shouldn't be receiving notifications for those. So it's a way for you to separate those users. And it's just a matter of creating groups, assigning the users, and then finally preparing the list of publications that they're able to see. If I take a look at the testing only group, you'll see that I have another list of publications, a totally separate list of publications and web media profiles. And I have another user assigned to that. So I'm going to just demonstrate that by logging out as that first user, and I'm going to log in as my secondary publisher user. And you can see that I only have access to the one active publication that was there. This user has some reduced rights, so they're not able to configure the publication, but they're able to see it. And if I try to send files, you'll see that it defaults to my one publication that I have access to. Right? So it's relatively straightforward to set up, but it is a couple of steps, and you do have to configure it in a few different places. So, but once you understand the relationship between the preference, the user, and the groups, it's pretty straightforward. Now, one caveat there is that what sometimes will happen is you'll get busy setting up users and forget to assign them to groups, and suddenly they don't see any publications, or you create a new publication and you may forget to assign it to yourself, and so you have trouble seeing it. So let us know if you get stuck in a position like that, but we've put some things in the interface to hopefully prevent that from happening. So, okay, the very last thing that I want to show you today is an ability that you may not actually have seen before, and that's a preference under the print ad settings, ad details view. That's the view that when you open up an ad, you see the larger preview and you can approve it, reject it, that type of thing. There's a whole section about notes. So I'm going to allow users to write notes about files. Okay, so let's log out. And I'm going to log back in as my main publisher user. And we should see the ad that we uploaded as an advertiser. Okay, here we are. There's our ad. And if I open this, you'll now see on the bottom row of drawers down here, there's a new entry called Notes. That opens up a new section on the right ad panel. And this will allow us to create positionable notes. And these can be anything that you wish. They can be moved wherever you wish. Hit save. Okay, and that now will appear. We'll generate a list of those. So So as many as you like can be added there, and you can print a list of those if you wish. Those will appear for all of your users, and they also appear over the preview. So you can now position your cursor just over that square, and that will pop up as a help text, who created it, when, and the text of the note. So it's a handy system for being able to communicate among various team members, and it's a nice lightweight way to track those sorts of things. All right, that covers our agenda. If you have any questions, you can raise those now in the chat or questions, and if not, we will sign off for today. Anyone? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and attention today. If you have questions that come up later, you feel free to answer those or send those to us for us to answer. And if you have suggestions for future topics, please let us know. We'd be happy to address the things that are most interesting for you. Thank you.